Hello everybody, today in this video we are going to explain a drama/indie film called The Pursuit of Happyness, which is released in 2006. The movie begins in 1981, San Francisco, with our lead character Chris and his son. Chris is trying his best to become better than his father, as he was 28 years old when he first met his dad. He is willing to go to any length and work as much as he can to provide the best possible life to his only son. He left his son to school and asked the sweeper outside the class about the incorrect spelling of happiness, and then he leaves for his work. Salesman Chris Gardner invests his entire life savings in portable bone density scanners, which he demonstrates to doctors and pitches as a handy quantum leap over standard X-rays. The scanners play a vital role in Chris's life. He has to sell 2 scanners for rent and daycare, while he have not sell any of them. While the time lag between the sales and his growing financial demands enrage his already bitter and alienated wife Linda, who works as a hotel maid. The financial instability increasingly erodes their marriage, in spite of them caring for Christopher Jr., their soon-to-be 5-year-old son. One of those mundane days, after dropping his kid at the daycare center and trying to sell the medical machines, he came across someone who worked at a prestigious brokerage firm. Chris asked him how he does what he does and how it has made him so rich, and he told him about the firm. He went inside the firm and came to know about the internship program. The internship was highly competitive and unpaid. One morning Chris decides to go to Dean Witter Reynolds for broker training so he could become a stockbroker. Before going inside, he gave his scanner to a hippie girl, singing song to entertain the people. He trusted her and gave her $1, but as he enters the office and takes the application form, he saw the girl ran away with the scanner. He goes behind her but failed to catch her. Next day, while leaving his son to school, he gets to know that at daycare his son watches the show Love Boat, so he talked to his teacher and tells her that he is already paying $150 monthly for television at home. But she tells her that for this he has to pay more for daycare, so he will do as he wishes. Then he leaves for the office of Dean Witter Reynolds to meet Witter Resource Head to submit his application form and to make some acquaintance. Later he come outside the office to make a phone call to sell his scanner, and he saw the hippie girl and a boy with his scanner. He followed them and get his scanner back. When he reached home, he and his wife gave their son a baseball as his birthday gift. Then Chris talks to his wife, but she replies him arrogantly. While Chris is trying to sell one of the scanners, Gardner meets Jay Twistle, a manager for Dean Witter Reynolds, and asked him about his application, while Twistle is rushing toward Noe Valley, so he did not reply to him properly. Chris asked him to share taxi ride as he also heading toward the same destination. Chris impresses him by solving a Rubik's Cube during a taxi ride. After Jay leaves, Gardner lacks money to pay the fare, and chooses to run instead, causing the driver to angrily chase him into a BART station. Gardner boards a train but loses one of his scanners in the process. As he could not made to home at time, he calls Linda to inform her, but Linda told her that she is leaving him and taking his son with himself. He didn't make much money from it, and his wife didn't see any future for them together. When he came home, he became disheartened as his wife and son has gone. After some time, Twistle Jay calls him and tells him to meet him the day after. His new relationship with Jay earns him the chance to become an intern stockbroker. Next day, he meets with Linda and tells her that if she wants to leave, she can, but their son Christopher lives with him. Later he goes to pick his son from daycare. The day before the interview, Gardner grudgingly agrees to paint his apartment so as to postpone being evicted due to his difficulty in paying the rent. While painting, Gardner is greeted by 2 policemen at his doorstep, who take him to the station, stating he has to pay for his numerous parking tickets he has accumulated. As part of the sanction, Gardner is ordered to spend the night in jail instead, complicating his schedule for the interview the next morning. He then calls Linda to take his son from daycare and let him be with herself for one night, as he cannot to do so. Linda agrees to do so and tells him that she will take their son to park. Next morning, as he get a quit, he ran toward the office. He manages to arrive at Dean Witter's office on time, albeit still in his shabby clothes. He enters in the office and answers all the questions of the panel sitting there very wisely. Despite his appearance, he impresses the interviewers, and lands an unpaid internship. He would be among 20 interns competing for a paid position as a stockbroker. When he was about to leave the office, Jay meets him and tells Chris to meet him that night. On the way back to home, he constantly thinks of ways to live 6 months as the internship is unpaid, so he have to sell at least 6 scanners. He came home and paints it and then waits for his son. Gardner's unpaid internship does not please Linda, who eventually leaves for New York, because she might get a job at her sister's boyfriend's new restaurant. After Gardner bluntly says she is incapable of being a single mom, she agrees that Christopher Jr. will remain with his dad. Next day, he packs his stuff and move out to new place. Then later that day he spends some time with his son. While they were enjoying their time, he advised his son that never let anybody tell you cannot do anything, not even him, his dad. And if he got a dream, he has to protect it. If he wants anything, he should go for it and get it. Later he sell one of his scanner. He started working as an intern at the firm while working at the other job to earn some money. At his first day as an intern, he walks out in break and meets with Mr. Frome and saw a madman taking his scanner machine with him. He goes behind him but got hit a car and lost his one shoe. When he come back to office, everyone laughs at him as he has one shoe, but he ignored them. Chris worked hard, but still his teacher do not appreciates him and consider him underrated. He has to pick his son from daycare at 4 p.m. and has to sell his scanner machine. Disadvantaged by his limited work hours, and knowing that maximizing his client contacts and profits is the only way to earn the broker position, Gardner develops a number of ways to make phone sales calls more efficiently, including reaching out to potential high-value customers, defying protocol. One sympathetic prospect who is a top-level pension fund manager even takes him and his son to a San Francisco 49ers game. Regardless of his challenges, he never reveals his lowly circumstances to his colleague. Even going so far as to lend one of his bosses $5 for cab fare, a sum that he cannot afford. He sold all his scanners in 4 months. Everything seems to be good until he receives a letter on day. It was from Internal Revenue Services. Gardner is further set back when his bank account is garnished by the IRS for unpaid income taxes, and he and Christopher are evicted. He ends up with less than $22, resulting in them being homeless, and they are forced at one point to stay in a restroom at a BART station. Other days, he and Christopher spend nights at a homeless shelter, in BART, or, if he manages to procure sufficient cash, at a hotel. Later, Gardner finds the bone scanner that he lost in the BART station earlier and, after repairing it, sells it to a physician, thus completing all his sales of his scanners. Concluding his internship, Gardner is called into a meeting with his managers. One of them notes he is wearing a new shirt. Gardner explains it is his last day and thought to dress for the occasion. The manager smiles and says he should wear another one tomorrow, letting him know he has won the coveted full-time position, giving him back his $5 as he promised. Fighting back tears, Gardner shakes hands with them, then rushes to his son's daycare to embrace Christopher. They walk down the street, joking with each other, and are passed by the real Chris Gardner, in a business suit. The epilogue reveals that Gardner went on to form his own multi-million-dollar brokerage firm. The movie concludes there. Overall, this movie is good to watch. Chris has been shown to be very considerate of his child's emotions in relation to his mother's decision. It is a very subtle but important message that how important it is for parents to address their children's feelings and assure them that they shouldn't torture themselves for what someone else chose to do. Children need these affirmations from their parents, and it will leave a lasting impact on them. This child would know that someone's actions don't reflect on him, even if it was his own mother. To watch many more exciting recaps like this, don't forget to subscribe, as that's the only way we can keep making these fantastic recaps, and like this video. Thanks again for watching, and stay safe and healthy.